this video we're going to explore a little known site known as Rostro Harakbut, which in English means the face of Harakbut. It is a colossus of unknown origin that is found in the jungles of the Amarakaere Communal Reserve in the province of Manu, in the department of Madre de Dios, southeast of Peru. According to Google Earth, it is located at 13.020 degrees south and 70.779 degrees west. First, I will present 3 articles about this site and give my comments to each article. The first article I'm going to present was written by David Hill and published in The Guardian, 8th of May 2015. The Guardian is a British daily newspaper. The headline states, quote, "Natural rock face or tribal sculpture. Peru and US hunt oil, don't care. The recent rediscovery of the Harakbut face in the Amazon raises fears about gas exploration." End quote. The rest of the article goes as follows, quote, "Do you see what the man in the photo above sees in the rock in the front of him? That's what some Harakbut indigenous people call the Rostro Harakbut, the Harakbut face. Located in a spectacular, super remote part of the southeast Peruvian Amazon. Is the rostro natural, whatever that means really, or has it been sculptured? Or does that even matter? Is it true it was effectively rediscovered by someone working for a firm contracted by US-based company Hunt Oil, which was cutting seismic lines through the area and detonating thousands of explosives underground? Just how important is the rostro to the Harakbuts, and can its existence help them to protect their wonderful forest and rivers from gold miners and gas exploration by Hunt? In October last year, a group of 9 Harakbut men, accompanied by UK filmmaker Paul Redman, visited the rostro. The film resulting from that expedition, The Reunion, was screened for the first time in Lima last November and focuses on 2 Harakbut leaders, Luis Tayore and Jaime Curisepa. It includes Tayore saying, quote, "4 years ago, working with the Sapiteri, a Harakbut clan, we heard about from the elders the rostro. It means a lot to us," end quote. And Curisepa saying, quote, "The rostro has always existed. The problem was we didn't know how to get to it," end quote. After they finally came face to face with it, Tayore says, quote, "This is a reunion with our ancestors. I think this could strengthen our people. It was very emotional seeing the rostro," end quote. The very existence of the carved face had been the stuff of legend, passed down for generations among Harakbut families, stated a press release by Burness Communications announcing the Lima screening. Tom Buick from the Rainforest Foundation US also visited with Redman. He told The Guardian he thinks the rostro was sculptured because, quote, "There are no other rocks remotely similar in shape in that river valley. It is perched perfectly overlooking a valley and presides over a waterfall and a basin that resembles an amphitheater. There are markings all over it that indicate it was hacked out with rudimentary tools. There are actually 2 rostros, a rostro within a rostro. Look below the nose. The boulders along the river are arranged in a way to channel the flow away from hitting the rostro's face directly, and in a way that would make it impossible for the face formation to have been caused by impact from even the heaviest of storms. The Harakbut don't have a written history, but claim the rostro has been in their oral history for generations and generations," end quote. Fermin Chimatani, another Harakbut leader, told The Guardian in mid-2014 there are another 2 rostros. "According to our elders, the rostro is like a god for the Harakbut people," says Chimatani, who is the president of the local community-based team running the Amarakaere Communal Reserve, ACR, where the rostro is located. Klaus Kicke, president of the regional indigenous organization FENAMAD, agrees with Chimatani on the importance of the rostro and the existence of others. Quote, "According to the information from the elders, there are another 2 rostros," end quote, Kicke told The Guardian. That is also asserted by Manuel Roque Prada, who in 2009 says he took the photo in the photo below while working for South American Exploration, which was contracted by Hunt to do the seismic explorations. Quote, "There are 2 more rostros and many more archaeological remains," end quote, Roque Prada says. The visit by Tayori, Corisepa and Redman followed an earlier one made in 2012 by Diego Cortijo from the Spanish Geographical Society (SGS), who went with other Harakbut men and a guard working for CERNAMP, the Environment Ministry department co-running the reserve together with Chimatami's team. In a report on the expedition, Cortijo describes how we have heard from various Harakbuts about a large stone with the aspects of an Inca face, which seems to have been located during exploration by Hunt Oil. What Cortijo's expedition subsequently found was a big rock formation, not only similar to a human face but clearly similar to a profile of Andean roots, covered with moss, about 8 meters high, facing east, towards Inti, the Inca sun god, standing in a presidential position over a waterfall that marks it out from any other rock. Cortijo told The Guardian that the rostro had been located during Hunt's explorations, but the company didn't want to give it any importance and wanted to play down its existence. "In my opinion, it's a natural rock that's been lightly worked on," says Cortijo. "I say that because of the perfection of the image, together with the fact that it's facing east, and that not far from there the presence of old tools have been reported. In addition, it presides over a pool, which is almost an oasis in the middle of the jungle. Why, you might ask, does the rostro matter? Here are just 2 reasons. 1. Aside from any debate over its origin, the fact is it is clearly of historical and spiritual significance to the Harakbuts, and therefore it acts as very tangible, striking, symbolic evidence that this particular part of the Peruvian Amazon is Harakbut territory. 2. The fact is that highlighting that this particular part of the Peruvian Amazon is Harakbut territory has arguably never been more important because of current operations by Hunt Oil, partnered by Repsol and Plus Petrol, to explore for what had been touted as the biggest gas deposits in the country. Hunt signed a contract with Peru's government to operate in this region in 2006 and has recently built its first drilling platform. According to FENAMAR, Hunt's concession Lot 76 overlaps almost 80% of the ACR, a supposedly protected natural area established to protect Harakbut territories, rivers, and a center of great biological diversity. Over the last few years, FENAMAR has taken numerous steps to stop the company, including 2 lawsuits, and accuses it of causing social division in Harakbut communities and trying to divide FENAMAR itself, spreading disinformation and threatening a unique, very biodiverse area that is extremely important to the Harakbuts, as well as a critical source of water for thousands of people downstream. The wells are scheduled to be located in the headwaters of the main rivers supplying Madre de Dios, a region inhabited by over 100,000 people, Kike told The Guardian. It's a very fragile zone. One further criticism is the potential impact of Hunt's operations on archaeological remains, which various Harakbuts say have not been taken into account, either by the company in its Environmental Impact Assessment EIA, or by the government in a master plan used to run the reserve, and a certificate of the inexistence of archaeological remains CIRA, which was issued by the Culture Ministry. Such remains include the rostro itself, other rostros, tools, and implements found near seismic lines cut by Hunt, and structures some Harakbuts believe date back to the Incas. We understand that one part of Harakbut territory was the scene of contact with the Incas, says Kike. Quote, people living in Puerto Luz, a Harakbut community, are sure that there is an Inca ruin covered by vegetation, end quote. Quote, "There is a story about Hunt wanting to drill a well near where there are Inca ruins," Tayori asserts. "An immense construction. We're talking about two cultures living in the same place," end quote. According to Tayori, the ACR's master plan invisibilized archaeological remains in the reserve by only acknowledging two of them, one a cemetery. About the Sira, he says, "This is killing us. This is our culture. You can't talk of no archaeological remains in this area." Indeed, it was the existence of archaeological remains, the search for El Dorado, that drew Cortijo and the SGS to the reserve, immense stone sculptures, lost ruins, and possibly a city called Paititi, according to its website. Rainforest Foundation's Buick says the Culture Ministry must now send someone to do a comprehensive analysis of the Rostro before further drilling takes place. It doesn't matter if it's man-made or not, Buick says. Even if it's completely natural, if it has historical cultural significance to the people, the potential impact of the drilling must be taken into account. What other valuable cultural sites are in the reserve? Tayori told Redman that one of his aims is to work with Sarnamp and the Culture Ministry to declare this area within the reserve the cultural patrimony of the Harakbut people, and why not the patrimony of humanity, end quote. Quote, "There is a citadel in the headwaters of the reserve. One man, who did not want to be identified, told The Guardian, quote, 'All of us who have worked in that area know that,' end quote." Hunt Oil and the Culture Ministry did not respond for comment. That is the end of the article. There are several statements in the article with arguments of why the structure was shaped by man and why it is not just a natural formation. I will repeat the arguments and add some points myself. Cortijo's opinion was that it was a natural rock that was lightly worked upon. He gave 4 reasons for why he believed so. Number 1, because of the perfection of the image. Number 2, it is facing east, the direction of the sunrise. Number 3, the presence of old tools have been reported not far from the Rostro. Number 4, it presides over a pool which is almost an oasis in the middle of the jungle. Tom Buick also believed the rock was sculptured. He gave 5 reasons for why he believed so. Number 1, there are no other rocks remotely similar in shape in that river valley. Number 2, it is perched perfectly overlooking a valley and presides over a waterfall and a basin that resembles an amphitheater. Number 3, there are markings all over it that indicate it was hacked out with rudimentary tools. Number 4, the boulders along the river are arranged in a way to channel the flow away from hitting the Rostro's face directly, and in a way that would make it impossible for the face formation to have been caused by impact from even the heaviest of storms. Number 5, the Rostro has been in the oral history of the Harakbut for generations and generations. In addition to that, I would like to add that the Rostro appears like a face from both sides. Most pictures of the face are taken from the south of the Rostro, but I was able to find an angle from the north side. In this image you can see that this side has not been cleared very much, but in my opinion you can make out the shape of a face from this angle too. And the rock with the face is standing on top of another rock that to me has the resemblance of a hand pointing. Another point I would like to make is that when I look at the Rostro, I don't only see a face, I also see several animal figures. On the side of the face I see the shape of a sitting cat. Below this shape I see the shape of another cat outlined in this image. The Rostro has been linked to the legendary lost city called Paititi. In an article blog posted in April 2019 titled Rostro Harakbut, Signs of a Road to Paititi, the author Keenan Birkin wrote, quote, "They call it Inca Cock, which in Hakbut, the native language of the Amaracaere indigenous people, means Inca face. According to the testimonies of the Harakbut elders, there are 2 other larger monolithic faces in the jungle, connected by ancestral underground roads that led to a great ancestral city, but those who knew how to reach them have already passed away," end quote. Klaus Kicke, president of the regional indigenous organization FENAMAD, stated that, quote, "We understand that one part of Harakbut territory was the scene of contact with the Incas. People living in Puerto Luz are sure that there is an Inca ruin covered by vegetation." End quote. The meaning of the word Paititi is not clear. My best guess is that it comes from the Aymara language, where the word titi means cat. The Aymara word paya can mean the number 2 or pair, so perhaps the meaning of Paititi is 2 cats or a pair of cats. So perhaps the shapes on the rostro, that in my opinion resembles cats, could mean that the rostro face is linked with the legendary city of Paititi. Another animal I see on the side of the face is a bird. The way I see it, the eye of the bird is located in the eye of the face. If this is not just my imagination, and that this was intentionally carved as a bird, what could this symbolize? Perhaps it is a hint to view things from a bird's perspective, perhaps a map, or perhaps the bird could be a symbol of the sun, like the falcon was a symbol of the sun to the Inca. According to the article by The Guardian, the face is looking towards the east, the direction of the sunrise. Perhaps it is a clue to see how the light from the sun hits the rostro. 32 kilometers northwest of the rostro, the archaeological place known as Incahac to the Harakbut, and by others it is called Casa del Inca, which in English means Inca house. Both Rostro Harakbut and the archaeological site Casa del Inca are recognized as the nation's cultural heritage. It is located in the Amaracaeri Municipal Reserve. The indigenous wise men of the original Harakbut people say that the Incas came to the heart of the Amaracaeri Municipal Reserve to hide and protect their treasure to avoid plunder by the Spanish invaders. According to the stories collected by the indigenous researcher Luis Tayore, the sages state that the Harakbut people maintained a relationship with the Incas since ancient times, coming to conduct exchanges. With the discovery of the Incahac archaeological site, the presence of the Incas inside Amaracaeri is proven. One thing I would recommend you to try is to create a line in Google Earth between the rostro and the Nazca lines. This line will be exactly parallel to one of the longest and most visible lines in Nazca. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.